Well, it's time to cross the T's and dot the I's on some of the week's top stories coming up. We now have with us Lindsay Piegza, FDN financial economist, Paul Westcott, the White House brief host and national correspondent, Lee's Wheel, Fox News legal analyst. And first up, the president says, hey, here's my way to boost the economy. He took a page out of the Republican playbook ahead of the November election. He's pitching a tax break package worth, it could be as much as $300 billion for businesses. And the president, on top of that, another $50 billion in new infrastructure spending. Don't call it a stimulus. So will this work? Lindsay, let's start with you. Don't call it a stimulus.
No, certainly not. This is a spending package.
Yes.
And Americans are still waiting for the millions of jobs promised as a result of the $787 billion stimulus package. We need to stop with these short-term artificial spending programs that essentially cherry-pick industries at the taxpayers' expense. What we need to see are long-term pro-growth policies that encourage innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation across several different sectors of the economy.
All right, Paul, so we won't call it a stimulus, but will this, is the economy stimulatable right now?
Well, sure it is, but it's only by private sector jobs being created, meaning tax dollars going back to individuals, as opposed to these programs which are just going to redistribute more wealth. And by the way, don't we have a few $100 billion still left in the stimulus that hasn't been spent, with another $50 billion on the way with this, and then the $26 billion for the teacher stimulus? When does it stop?
Look, on the way to work today, to the train, because I take the train in, but I was driving to the train, I almost lost a tire in a pothole. So I would love to get the streets repaired. I'm signing up for that. But, you know, the first time around, remember, Obama administration kept saying we're going to have shovel-ready jobs in the transportation realm. And I don't see any shovels out there working, at least in my neighborhood, so it didn't work.
This is still number one, is it not? I mean, we're talking, Lindsay, about the election coming up in just a few short weeks, and people are looking at these numbers. They may not be economists, but they're starting to feel overwhelmed by it. Are you?
They certainly are. Look, this is another spending package, and right now one of the primary concerns, aside from jobs, is the amount of government spending. And I don't think the American public is really going to be fooled by the idea that spending another 50 or 150 billion is going to be enough to spur job creation in this economy.
Okay, so when I was a child, I walked to school barefoot in the snow, uphill both ways, of course, but today only 1 in 10 children get to school that way. In an effort to improve kids' health and decrease pollution, the state of Utah offering children who walk or bike to school at least 3 times a week during the month of September the chance to win prizes. They're going to bribe the children. Paul, what do you think?
Education is compulsory, okay? So you have to go. Kids have to go to school, so you got to get transportation. That's the thing. And you know what? These state-run programs, I mean, it goes from the White House, Michelle Obama's Get Kids Fit sort of programs, all the way down to, you know, the state-level programs. I mean, it's going to take parents' involvement. It's not up to the state to do these things.
But Lise, I mean, Mark, or Paul, sorry, you want involvement of the parents.
Right.
Why don't the parents drive them to school?
Well, we have this fight literally yesterday in my household because my daughter was saying, you know, so-and-so's parents let her walk to school, and I said, I'm not letting you walk alone. Now, something like the Utah program where all the kids are doing it together, they're going in groups, I think it's a safety issue. And I will admit to you that, I hope the kids aren't watching, that when my son asked at the same age, I would be more readily, you know, allowing him to go than I will my daughter. And that's just a sexist comment from a parent's point of view, but it's the truth. You have to think, unfortunately, about crime in this day.
Lindsay, is that what it is? Or is it just the fact that we've gotten lazy? We want the schools to do everything for raising our children.
I don't know. I actually think about this a little deeper. I think this is actually an undermined way for the Utah School District to cut their expenses by reducing the number of school buses that they need. And I would caution them by doing this. I would say if we need to cut expenditures, then we need to look elsewhere in terms of teachers contributing to their benefit packages and union salaries as well.
I'm losing this
fight.
It
really is about the kids.
Because I'm sitting there going, fine for the kids out in the farms, out in the rural areas, but for the city kids,
But there are a lot of rural kids, and the city kids, even so, the city kids, even more, that they need a safe bus that's going to get them from point A to point B. And you said to me, well, why don't you just take them? Well, you know, us working parents, we can't necessarily take our kids, or if we can take them, we can't pick them up at 2:30 because we're still at work.
I think it's the smallest level. You have a state mandate, you want a government mandate, you have to be able to pay for the transportation to get them there.
And you're paying for bus drivers and things like that to employ people.
Right, exactly. It's a job creation plan.
I agree to disagree. All right, let's try this one. How about the oldest profession has spurred one of the longest running debates? Should prostitution be legal? Well, I was reading, no, I wasn't reading some girly magazine. I was reading The Economist and found some very interesting results. 78% of the people who read The Economist say prostitution should be legal. 22% disagree. Lise, will let you take it.
I disagree, and I've looked at this from a legal standpoint, and I see what they're saying, which is that if you legalize it, then you can tax the heck out of it, you can make money, you can protect the girls more, but it still is legalizing the selling of your body. And I just, along with marijuana, I don't think it should be legal.
But we have it legal in some parts of this country.
Absolutely.
Nevada, parts of Nevada?
Absolutely. I think it absolutely should be legalized along with marijuana for the reason that we have, you know, personal freedoms in this country, and in all honesty, it's not hurting anybody else.
If you
are legally choosing to do something, I mean, women are allowed to do what they want. I believe in choice in this instance. Come on, let them do what they want.
He says it won't hurt anybody, but I mean, the pimps won't become nice guys if they legalize prostitution, will they?
No, I don't think so. But let's look at this from an economic standpoint, and this is a very large missing market that could generate billions of dollars in tax revenue for the governments. Now, if we could make a deal with state and local governments that they would use this revenue to reduce taxes elsewhere, I am definitely for the legalization of prostitution. But if it results in increased spending and additional entitlement programs, then I say leave well enough alone, leave it to the black market.
You don't want to send that message.
We'll need a whole new department of prostitution.
And a czar. We have to get a czar, too.
Staffers and everything.
A prostitution czar and the research on it. I was lining up for that job. No, don't send that message to our girls.
Lindsay, Paul, and Lise, thank you all very much, of course.
Your chance to win.